Hello again, Lockpicking Paul here, and what I've got tonight are a couple of sets from Multipick. They've sent these along for a review. What I've got is the Sandman Intermediate Set and the Locknoob triple thickness set. So they are, I think, aimed at quite different pickers, so different audiences, if you like. So I thought we'd do a bit of a comparison between the two sets. They both come in the Multipick Elite 27 case, which is a genuine leather case with 27 pockets. But you can get a lot more in these cases, and they are very good for expansion. I'll just give you an idea. I have covered this in more detail in another video. This is my own Elite 27 case, and I've had this for a number of years. And you can get a lot in here. Okay, this is a case that can truly grow with you. So it's one of the cases I think is probably the best on the market for lock sporters, in terms of everything can be held in a relatively small package, but it'll go with you. So yeah, these are tremendous cases. And if you were to buy one of these on its own from the Multipick site, you're going to pay around about 25 euros, including the shipping. So it's not a cheap case, but it is a good case. So what have we got in terms of the sets? Let's start with the Sandman set. First of all, who do we think it's targeted at? I think this is for people who are perhaps coming off of their first cheap set. They've decided that Locksport is for them, and they'd like to drop some money on a quality set of tools. And this is, traditional Multipick tools, very highly finished, fantastic labeling on them. You break one, you can just order a replacement. But the quality is well known, it's well understood by the community. I've been using these quite happily for the last 2 weeks, and they pick as well as any other Multipick does, which is it's a great pick. I particularly like smaller picks, so they suit my style. If you like really big handles, then maybe they're not for you, but these are the same sort of size as the Covert Instruments, Genesis and Echelon sets. So it's the same sort of form factor. What we've got in this set is a set of 0.6mm hooks. So these are the more robust ones. They're thicker. And they'll take on the majority of US and UK locks. There's a series of hooks in different depths, and there's actually a mixture of slight profiles. I'll show you these. So some of them have flatter tips like this one, so you've got like a pair here of a similar depth, but one's a rounded tip, one's a flat tip, and then these two are more rounded tips. You've then got a set of 3 rakes, and if you were coming off a cheaper set, these are a bit of a treat, because they are, especially the Quint is a particular favourite of mine. They're very effective rake profiles. Then you've got a couple of special picks over here. These two are 0.4mm. So again, if you're improving your picking, you're going to want thinner picks, something with a bit more ability to navigate those tight keyways. These are just the job for that. You do have to be a little bit more gentle with them. 0.4s will bend if you put too much force on it. So, lighter tension, let the pick do the work. But they are going to be great for locks like Vink houses and stuff like that, which have those narrow keyways. What else do we have in here? Well, there's a set of tensioners. And the sizes, these are your combined top and bottom keyway, but you can use these for recessed keyways as well. So if you've got a setback like an 1100 or something like that, that will clear that. But we've got these in 0.8 of a millimeter, 1mm, and interestingly 1.3mm. Normally if you buy a tensioner set in the UK, you'll get 0.8, 1mm, 1.2mm and 1.5. I've always said that the 1.3 was a missing thickness in tensioner. However, what is slightly odd is there's no 1.2, and 1.2 does fit things like American locks really well. And as your picking gets better, you do want a more positive fit in it with your tensioner, because that'll give you the ability to control the core. So it's not like you can't pick things like 1100s of this. You can use the 1mm tensioner just fine, but you've got a bit more slop there. And so I do think if you get this set, you might want to add to it. And I do think a 1.2mm tensioner would definitely be a good addition to this set. What you also get are these bottom of the keyway tensioners like this. These are the Christina Palmer tensioners, so they've got long sides for the bottom of the keyway there, and then slightly shorter but profiled. There we go, you can see the profile there. These are great, I really like these. They're a great shape. And they're very versatile. You can use them in a lot of different locks. They don't have to be used in the bottom of the keyway. Some of these will hit recessed locks really quite well, especially if you've got a narrow, very top of the keyway. These are a nice fit. So in terms of an intermediate trade-up set, this is a really great start, because if you take, I think the price is somewhere around about 68, 69 euros. But remember, you've got about 25 euros worth of case here as well, and it's one that can definitely be expanded. So it's a really good option for someone looking to step into a serious pick set. Okay, that's the Sandman Intermediate Set. Let's take a quick look at the Locknoob triple thickness set. This is a much bigger set. It's much more substantive in terms of what it has. What we've got here, the front row are all 0.6 millimeter picks. Then behind that, 0.5s. So, you know, if you need to come down a size to navigate a keyway, you've got 0.6, 0.5, and then you've got a set of 0.4s. So it's a progressive set. My personal preference when picking a lock is I will start with the thickest picks I can get away with, because they'll transfer the feedback from a lock that much better, and step down only if I need to step down. Plus, you know, these 0.4s, as I said earlier, they're going to have to be taken care of. You can't go bullying locks with those. But what you've got are a set of 4 profiles. These are all, apart from one of them, they're all roundeds. I will show this on this particular hook profile. It has a very thin scalloped tip for hooking around the pins. Particular favourite of mine, this particular profile. That is the PN31. So it's a great pick. Not so many rakes in this set. In fact, just 1 profile and 3 thicknesses. But again, if you're very serious about your single pin picking, this is probably the kind of set you're going to go for, right? It's for navigating narrow keyways and much more challenging locks. So raking is probably going to feature less highly in your picking. You've also got some space. You can always add things like rakes to this set, but that's not the focus of this set. In terms of tensioners, a lot more tensioners. And I do think as your picking improves, as your demands improve, you're going to gather more tensioners than perhaps picks even, which is why we've only got 4 profile of pick here, but you've got lots of tensioners. So let's go through the tensioners. We've got these again, Christina Palmer pattern tensioners. I really like these ones. These can be used top or bottom of the keyway. But they're very solid. They're sort of nice square tensioners. These are not thin, bendy bits of metal. They're a really nice feel to them. They're uncommon. They're an uncommon pattern. I didn't have any tensioners of this particular size and profile, and I've been playing with these this week, and they are super. They do make picking that much easier. And these do fit the keyways really well. What we got over here is another set of 3 longer bottom of the keyway style tensioners, like the bigger brothers to these ones. Again, all in three thicknesses. We've got 0.8, 1mm and 1.3 in these tensioners. So much like the Sandman set, no 1.2mm tensioner, which again, I think if you've got a set with this kind of breadth and depth to it, I think you'd want to add a 1.2mm tension and probably a 1.5 as well. If you're getting up into sort of the ASA style, sort of 600 and 700 locks, you're going to want that thicker profile. What we've also got are single-ended, 3 sets of 3 single-ended tensioners. Again in 0.8, 1mm and 1.3, but these are for basically accessing more recessed keyways, and you want to obviously get away with the closest tensioner you can get to with the lock without binding on anything. So this gives you options for getting into those locks. And then finally, what we've also got is this. This is a wedge tensioner, bottom of the keyway. It's tapered, so it goes, I think, from 1.3 down to 1.8. Is it 1.3 to 1.8? Sorry, 0.8 to 1.4. So you can just drive that in, it'll wedge in place. Now what makes that good is once it's stuck in place, you've got a bit more core control, so no slop at all. It's a really nice tensioner, and not one you see very often in other sets. So yeah, this is much more of a, you're very serious about your picking, you want to spend some sizable amount of money on what is a precision set. That's what I would class this as. The cost for this is somewhere in the region of about 118, 119 euros, plus the shipping. But again, you're getting a lot of picks and a fantastic case for your money. So anyway, I hope before that was interesting. They're great sets. I think either of them would be, I'm delighted to have them. I'm going to be using these to pick a lot of locks. And I believe that Multipick will be running a Black Friday special from the 29th. I don't have any details of what that is. I will put a link in the description to that page so you have it, but I don't realize any benefit from that. This is more a case of me having a little play with some sets that they've sent you, and I will send you over to them so you can have a dig around on my website. So finally, again, the Sandman Intermediate Set and the Locknoob triple thickness set. This version is the tensioner version. They do a version of this that doesn't have the tensioners, but I do think more tensioners, especially as your picking improves, are definitely a benefit. Okay, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it, and enjoy your picking.